friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another holiday countdown tumbler tutorial. In this video, I'm going to take inspiration from one of my favorite tumbler people on this earth, Vanessa from VMD Designs. She's one of my good friends in this community, and as you all know, I'm sure she has some beautiful tumbler designs. So she made this Let It Snow Peekaboo tumbler a couple years ago, and when I was looking for inspiration for this countdown, I kept thinking about this tumbler and I was like, I gotta do something with that. So I'm gonna take inspiration from her design and give it a little bit of a Mal touch. I had so much fun putting this tumbler together and I really hope you all enjoy the video. As always, if you do enjoy it, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below. Of course, subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and let me know what you think of this design down below in the comments. Down in the description box, you'll find a full supply list along with discount codes. You'll also find a link to join my exclusive mentorship group, MBMM Elite. In that group, I provide a bunch of additional content. We do Zoom hangouts together, lives in our Facebook group. I give out free digital designs. We do cup swaps, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you want more information on that, you can go to madebymeanyandmal.com/MBMM Elite, or again, you can visit the link down in the description. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you all enjoy the video. Let's go. Okay, so we're starting with a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler here. This is actually a sublimation matte tumbler, and I've just sanded it down super duper lightly, and now we can go right into all of our design work. So starting with some painter's tape, I'm going to tape off the two edges of my tumbler, so the top and bottom, and I'm using first this 1.5 inch painter's tape, and then I'm going to take some 1 inch painter's tape, and I'm going to butt that right up against the 1.5 inch, and that's going to give us our top and bottom sections that we're going to peekaboo later. I just wanted to do that to make sure each of those sections was even. If you want to measure and just mark them off and do it a different way, you totally can. So now for this middle section, I'm going to take my Crystal glitter glue and I'm going to paint this middle section with the glitter glue. And then I'm going to take snow confetti from Peachy Olive Glitters and I'm going to glitter this middle section with snow confetti. Immediately after glittering and after I've tapped off all of the excess, I'm going to get rid of those two 1 inch pieces of painter's tape, and then I'm going to let this sit and dry for at least 2 hours. I want to make sure that the glitter glue doesn't dry on this tape and risk peeling off some of that glitter. So I want to peel that tape away right away. And then once the glitter's dry, I'm going to go through with my glitter glue and water mixture and I'm going to seal that middle section. And once that's been drying for 2 hours, you can see it's totally dry. The glitter is not moving. I'm going to tape off the middle section with some electrical tape. Now I'm using electrical tape here because it will give us a little bit better of a guard, I guess, against the glitter. Like it's going to stick to the glitter better than painter's tape would. And it's going to protect that middle glitter better than just painter's tape by itself would. So I'm going to use the electrical tape on the edges, and then I'm going to just reuse those pieces of painter's tape that we had on the edges of the tumbler in the middle to protect all of that middle section. And then I'm going to mix some glitter glue and light pink paint together, and I'm going to use that as the base and the adhesive for these two sections that I'm going to glitter here. Now this section is going to be peekaboo, like I said, and in hindsight, I wish I would have done more peekaboo. You'll see later, I don't really utilize the peekaboo portion of this enough, in my opinion at least. So I'm using this really beautiful glitter. This is Serendipity from Peachy Olive Glitters. And in the end, you really can't see it all too much. So if you're going to do the same exact thing that I'm doing here, I would just use a glitter that you kind of like, but maybe aren't super in love with, because I feel like Serendipity was kind of wasted on this tumbler, if that makes sense. So once those two sections were glittered, I'm going to remove all of my tape and then I'm going to let this dry. I'll seal the top and bottom sections and then I'll add 2 coats of epoxy to my tumbler. Once those 2 coats are added, I'm going to clean up the top rim and then I'm going to do a full round of sanding all over the cup. I had to do quite a bit of sanding down at the bottom of the cup. And I want this to be totally smooth because this is where our peekaboo is going to happen. So I'm going to take some more painter's tape and I'm going to tape off the middle section of our tumbler because we're only focusing right now on the top and the bottom. And what we're going to do for this peekaboo is some snowflakes. So I cut out a bunch of different snowflakes out of my stencil vinyl and I'm just going to place them all over these sections of the tumbler. Now, this is where I wish I would have done more of these peekaboo snowflakes, because this glitter is so beautiful, and in the end, with the amount of snowflakes I did, you really just can't see it all that much. So of course you can edit and do more peekaboo snowflakes if you want, but in my mind I was thinking I'm going to add more snowflakes later, so I only wanted to do a few of the peekaboo ones and leave enough room for all the other ones I was going to add. But of course you can do whatever you want. Do as many peekaboo snowflakes as you want and then add less later. Whatever, just do what makes you happy. So I'm going to paint this white, and once the paint is dry, we're going to go in with our Southern Belle Glitter foil adhesive, and we're going to use that as the adhesive for our glitter. You can use, if you want the epoxy method, you can use the glitter glue, Mod Podge, whatever adhesive you like, it really doesn't matter. But before I apply that adhesive, I'm going to go through with my Sharpie, and I'm going to mark off all of my snowflakes with that black Sharpie so that I can find them underneath my white glitter. So once I've painted on my foil adhesive, I'm going to let it sit and dry for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to add my glitter. I'm using Neve from Peachy Olive Glitters. This is a super extra fine white glitter that has a little bit of a pink shift to it. And once I've got that on with a gloved hand, I'm going to go through and just rub that glitter down. This is essentially like the tack it method. We're just using a different adhesive. We're not using tack it, obviously, but we're just going to burnish that glitter down until it's really nice and smooth. And once that's done, we're going to go in and do our peely time. So using my tweezers, I'm going to very carefully remove all of my snowflake stencils. Just make sure that you're really careful throughout this process. You don't want to scratch your glitter or your paint, and just take your time and you'll see all of that really pretty glitter underneath. Once all of the decals have been peeled, I'm going to remove that painter's tape from the middle, and then I'm going to add another super duper thin coat of epoxy over this glitter. I'm talking maybe 10 milliliters of epoxy total. And once that's cured, I'm going to tape off now the top and bottom sections of the cup so that we can work on this middle section. Now we're going to do a peekaboo here as well. We're going to take this tree line and we're going to put this on the very bottom of this middle section. Now this tree line is from Creative Fabrica, and it's not really my favorite. I actually really didn't like how it looked, and I ended up adding some more trees later to kind of cover it up because I just didn't really like the look of the trees. But I will link this file down below for you if you want to use the same one. But I cut this out of my stencil vinyl, wrapped it around the bottom, and now we're going to do a pretty navy blue and like teal ombre sky over the trees. And once that's dry, I'm going to go through and peel up all of my stencil vinyl so that we have those really pretty white glittery snowy trees in the background. And once the stencil vinyl is all peeled up, we can go through and add the rest of our vinyl elements. Now for some of our vinyl elements, we're going to use this really pretty pearl vinyl. You guys have seen me use this a few times in this series so far. This is the new colorful pearl vinyl series from Teckwrap Craft. All of these vinyl colors have beautiful sparkle and shift and just this like beautiful texture that stays under epoxy. So we're going to use the pink and the blue in this video. So I've cut out some snowflakes in the blue pearl, some silver textured metallic, and then here's the pink pearl. Now I also cut out the striping for the middle section. I cut a bigger stripe out of that blue. So this is 0.2 inches in width, and I'm going to put this down right on top of where the sections meet, you know. And then on top of that, I'm going to take my thinner silver textured metallic stripe. This I believe is 0.12 inches in width, and I'm just going to layer that right over the middle. And then what I'm going to do is take all of these different snowflakes, and I'm just going to fill up these top and bottom sections as much as I possibly can. I want to get as many snowflakes in these two sections as possible. I want this to be full and varied in different snowflake colors and just like really dynamic and colorful and fun. So having this plan in mind in the beginning, was why I didn't do as many peekaboo snowflakes, but I think the glitter really gives a big effect and I should have kept that. But anyway, like I said, do whatever you want. I'm just going to take all of these different snowflake decals and fill these sections up. So that's what all of our snowflakes look like on our cup. How freaking cute. And now I'm going to add this second layer of trees. Now I decided to do this because I didn't really like how the peekaboo trees ended up. So this is totally optional. If you want to just leave your glitter peekaboo trees as is without adding anything, you totally can. But I wanted to add this because I didn't really like how those peekaboo trees looked and I thought it would give a nice layered effect anyway. So I cut this out of just regular white vinyl and I ended up cutting the bottom off because it was just a little bit too big, like with the width that I needed to go all the way around the tumbler. They were just a little too tall. So I cut the bottom off a little bit and then just wrapped it around the cup, kind of offsetting them with the trees that we peekabooed so that you could still see that peekaboo effect. I didn't want that to go away completely. And now on top of that, we're going to add our decal. So this decal is available on my website and it says "Walkin' in a Winter Wonderland." So for the offset, we're going to use our silver textured metallic vinyl. And then for the top layer, we're going to use that colorful pearl pink vinyl from Teckwrap Craft that we used for some of the snowflakes. And I'm going to reverse weed this because this has a lot of little details and thin letters and little stars and stuff I didn't want to lose out on when I weeded. So I reverse weeded and then I just weeded out the middles of the letters after they were already placed on the tumbler. And now we're going to add a coat of epoxy and add some more glitter into our cup. Of course, we have to, right? So I'm going to add about 15 milliliters of my Flynn Sisters Fast Cure Epoxy to my tumbler. And then in that remaining 5 milliliters, I'm going to mix a little bit of Parabatai from Peachy Olive Glitters into my epoxy. And we're going to use this to give this middle section of our tumbler more sparkle for one, and a little bit of a snow falling effect. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on my finger and I'm just going to spread it all throughout this middle section. Now you can use any sort of white glitter that you want. I recommend either a mini chunky or a really chunky cut. That's going to give you the best like snowfall effect. But of course, you can do whatever you want. You can even skip this step if you want, but I feel like it just gives it that little extra pizzazz. So once I'm done with this middle section, I'm going to take some basic White Girl, also from Peachy Olive Glitters, and I'm going to add it into that same cup with Parabatai. I'm going to mix that together, and I'm going to use this to add some more sparkle to the top and bottom sections. Now, I didn't want to do the same glitter in the middle that I did on the top and bottom, which is why I added basic White Girl after I did the middle section. I wanted to give a little bit of variation between those areas. So once you're done with that, you'll add your final coat. I still need to add a couple more final coats, I think, to this tumbler to get it totally smooth, but that's it for this tutorial and for this design. I really hope you all enjoyed this one. Again, thank you to my girl Vanessa for the inspiration for this tumbler. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I hope you guys liked my version of her amazing tutorial. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and come back tomorrow for our grand finale of the holiday countdown. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you then. Love you. Bye.